I think it's safe to say that everyone has had their very own childhood games. Whether that has been simply the classic Flash games, or even all of the common mobile games, or probably even the biggest childhood game of all, Club Penguin. But today, I'm not here to talk about any of those, because today I'm here to talk about my top 2 favorite childhood games that you might have never even heard of. So, I would say that my first ever childhood game is none other than a Flash game, which was called Panfu. And I used to play this a lot, and I think even Panfu was pretty much the European version of Club Penguin, and it was so similar, as of what I remember, that some people even called it a Club Penguin copy, which I sort of can understand, because in the end they had a lot of similarities. But the only difference is that instead of being penguins, you were pandas. And the reason why I really play this game simply comes down to 2 reasons. Because firstly, like I said, is the fact that, well, this was mostly popular in Europe, and that was pretty much the game that everyone were playing. But if you were to compare Panfu and Club Penguin to each other, then I think the reason why I just truly enjoyed this game so much is the fact that most of the things, at least compared to Club Penguin, are free to play. Because if you don't remember, in Club Penguin there used to be like a ninja game that was similar to rock, paper and scissors, but if you really wanted to progress further in the game, you needed to have a membership, and that's not really something I did have. Now, Panfu also had a membership system, but it didn't really limit you on what games you can play or overall the experience of the game. It was just simply for cosmetic purposes, at least compared to Club Penguin, which if you didn't have a membership, then you were quite limited on what you could do. At least of, well, what I remember. But I think the best thing about Panfu is that whenever it was your birthday, you would have a membership for free for an entire week. And I just remember that singular week was probably one of the best weeks in that year, because oh my god, I remember I used to play this daily whenever I got home from school, but whenever I had a free membership, and sometimes they even made like event like, oh, it's the anniversary of the game, so everyone gets membership. I don't know, but I remember I had a lot of membership most of the time, even though I wasn't even like subscribed or anything, which was pretty, I'm not sure how that happened, but you got it a lot for free, like it was sometimes in certain levels and etc. But the thing about being a membership is that I remember in Panfu, you were capable of messing with other people. I think this was similar to Club Penguin as well. Like you could throw a paper airplane or throw a water balloon at someone.
Oh my god. I met a Swedish man. Let's throw a water balloon at him. Oh! Get wrecked, son! Get wrecked!
But when you became a member, then the real stuff were about to go down. Because not only can you mess with other people, but it can also, in a way, ruin it for them. Because I remember you could throw a snowball which would freeze the person, and not only does it freeze it, but it makes you not being able to move for like 5 seconds. And oh my god, but I remember I was just throwing snowballs like left, right and center on people, and no one was knowing. And I remember so many people were like raging or so confused, like, who the heck is throwing the snowball at me? And I'm just laughing there, glitching out of the map so they can't even, like, hiding behind a tree or something, but I'm not visible. I remember I was just sitting there laughing, and I mean, in a way, just trolling and messing with other people. And I think that is truly why I just enjoyed Panfu so much, because I mean, you can still do this even if you weren't a member, but this time you were messing with other people. And I just want to say, when 9-year-olds can't move for 5 seconds, they do get upset, at least back in my days. But other than trolling, I think I really just enjoyed this game because there were a lot of mini games. Now, some are very similar to Club Penguin, and I really won't get too much into depth of that, but what they did at least is that they had a lot of inspirations from typical and very popular Flash games like Ninja Kiwi, where you pop balloons, or I forgot the name, but like the defense where you need to like shoot and pop balls, I guess, and not let them come into your base. Like, they had so many games that you could play in your free time in the game itself, so it sort of became like a cool math game website in a way. But you could also socialize with other people. So I think that's what I really liked about it, because also all of these games, they didn't require you to have a membership and everything like that, which, I don't know, it's just something nice that wasn't really seen in Club Penguin, at least to my knowledge. But ever since November of 2016, Panfu did unfortunately end up shutting down. But that's sort of just what happens to your childhood games, you know? They're a big part of your early stage of your life, but eventually they do end up either shutting down or be completely dead to this day. But a game that isn't dead for me is my second childhood game, and it's probably the biggest one so far, and it's called Tales of Pirates. Now, Tales of Pirates is probably one of the first MMOs that I ever played in my entire life, and I think was the main reason why I even enjoyed and fell in love with the whole entire MMO and open world genre of video games, because you were just capable of roaming around freely, doing whatever you want in the game and not being stuck on and forced to do certain quest lines or complete some certain daily, weekly, or even monthly quests, which you have to do in certain other popular MMOs nowadays in order to keep up and, you know, actually be considered good at the game. And something that I really liked about this game is the fact that, well, there are pretty much no difference between the playstyle you want to play, because you can either play Tales of Pirates as PvE, where you just, well, you don't really, you're just playing it passively, you're not really trying to, you know, become the best person in the game, and you just farm and get good at the game by your own. Or PvP, where your goal is to just become like the best player ever by defeating as many opponents as possible and, you know, climbing up the ranks or whatever. But whatever playstyle you prefer to play, you were still capable of becoming and progress equally in the game. Now, PvE maybe was a bit slower, but in the end, everyone still had the same opportunities of growing and becoming so big as possible in the game. Which was very useful for me, because back in the days when I actually found Tales of Pirates and was playing it, I really had no knowledge about the game whatsoever, and even the English language itself, because I even remember asking my parents about certain questions regarding the game, like how do I finish this quest and can they read the details in the description of the quest so I can understand what I'm supposed to do. But since my parents never really had any connection when it comes to, you know, games itself, and they didn't even know what the heck Tales of Pirate was, then it was sort of hard for them to translate what the NPCs were saying, because they would mention something like, oh, go into the forest and fight this mysterious beast, but I mean, they don't know where the location of the forest. Where is that? And I mean, I don't know what a forest is in that age. I don't remember. I was like 7 or 8 when I first found that game, and well, it's supposed to be for teenagers. I don't even know why I was playing it. My older brother and his friend found it, but none of us knew English, so what? How did we even find that game? But anyways, but yeah, so it was so hard for me to just follow along this, you know, like the story itself, so I was just roaming around, chilling, vibing by myself, killing some mobs. I mean, I wasn't strong at the game, but I was just, I guess, enjoying the life of playing Tales of Pirates, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, in certain MMOs, you're sort of forced to just, you know, do the daily quest, do the weekly quest, and just quest always 24/7, and it's not really, well, maybe what do you want to do? Do you maybe want a quest or not? That's why I really like this MMO, and I think this is the reason why I've still been sticking of playing this game every now and then, because, well, firstly from nostalgia, but I just really like how the playstyle is compared to, well, modern MMOs, which I've probably ranted a lot about. And something I really liked is the fact that, well, it has a very nice PvP and PvE based systems, because there are a lot of dungeons which are called mazes in this game that are PvE and PvP oriented, And when it comes to the PvP mazes, you form guilds and try to fight your enemies, but sometimes in certain mazes, you're sometimes even forced to become allies with your enemies. Just in order so that you can secure the completion of the maze, but also so you can just complete it effortlessly and efficiently as possible. But overall, the whole community of the whole game and your very own reputation of the game pretty much is your entire life there. Because pretty much everyone knows whatever you do. Like, let's for example you were clutching against your enemies, then you would both be praised from both your own guild, but also the enemy guild, like, holy mackerel, that was fucking good, well played, GG's, like, there aren't a lot of toxicity, well there still is, but that's every game, but this sort of action and community altogether can't really be seen in a lot of MMOs. Or at least a lot of the popular MMOs nowadays. Which I think is the reason why I just specifically enjoy the Tales of Pirates MMO compared to all of the other ones. But ever since February of 2016, Tales of Pirates then ended up shutting down. But something that was very popular in Tales of Pirates is that while it did have a lot of private servers which would amplify the game, some would give you an insanely experience boost and add their own custom stuff to the game. So while not the main game itself is still alive today, the community of the whole genre is still alive, surrounded by all of the private servers that are still up to date. And the ones that I've showed you in this video is, for example, from the private server called Pirate King Online, if anyone was curious about that. Now, these are only some of my childhood games that I played while growing up, and there are still countless of other games and even other stuff as well that I can make a video about, but the video is already longer than it should be. So if you want me to make a part 2 of this video, then feel free to leave that down in the comment section below. And perhaps also let me know if you ever played any of these childhood games that are mentioned down in this video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!